Part 49. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 481. Chapter 481, Door to Door. Mom and Dad, you are old and it is too hard to take care of glutinous rice balls, otherwise, we can take care of the children together. Song King. He considered his tone and tried to communicate with his parents. With a smile on her face, Mrs. Song tried her best to please Tang Yuan. Little glutinous rice balls, give me a hug from Grandma. Little Tang Yuan twisted her face in a disdainful manner, leaned into old Mrs. Song's arms, and showed a toothless smile. Old Mrs. Song, who liked her, was both sad and happy at the same time. Tang Yuan likes my grandma, and my great-grandma also likes Tang Yuan. Tang Yuan obediently waits for Mom and Dad to come back. Can parents come back? The old lady didn't know what she was doing. I didn't dare to think or say it, I just hoped that I wouldn't ask or tell, and finally my grandson and grandson's wife would suddenly come back and appear in front of me. The old lady didn't dare to cry, for fear of feeling uncomfortable herself, and even more afraid of the old man being sad. Don't think she doesn't know. The old man sat alone in the garden at night, looked at the grapevines, smoked at least a dozen cigarettes, and wiped his tears alone. She didn't even dare to go out. The old man hadn't cried in many years. The last time I cried was because of my fallen comrades. This time the situation was really bad. Both of them were afraid that the other would be sad, so they tried to pretend to be calm. Whitewashing peace is not really peace. The smile on Song's mother's face was awkward. The outstretched hand was frozen there. How dare this little brat do this to him? Hold your breath secretly. She has to endure it. Mom, I'll do it. You've been tired for so long, so you should take a rest. It's not an option to continue like this. Mrs. Song paused. Yes. If this happens in the future, she really won't be able to handle this child with her old bones. If I were 10 years younger, I wouldn't need Song's mother even if I were 5 years old. But she is not young now. He was about to reach out and give the child to Song's mother. Auntie said, "Old lady, the old lady of the Wu family, the old man, and his son and daughter-in-law are here." Mrs. Song paused and her face turned green. Who asked them to come? To see my jokes? Get them out. Hugging her glutinous rice tightly, Song's mother hurriedly agreed with an angry look on her face. I don't care about holding glutinous rice balls, so I go to do important things. What is the Wu family going to do? While the Song family was in distress, did you deliberately come to humiliate them? At this time, we must not lose the momentum of the Song family. Mother Song has not yet stood up. You are still so popular at any age, you are not afraid of being laughed at by the juniors. Mrs. Wu and Mr. Wu walked in slowly, followed by Wu Pingjing and Su Meng. Su Meng felt that she was now being used as a thug by those young men who bullied men and women in ancient times. She knew in her heart what the old man and the old lady were doing. But, facing the Song family, I still felt a little guilty. This is Zhang Xiaoxio's husband's family. When I think of Dr. Zhang, I feel a wave of regret in my heart. Mrs. Song didn't want to say a word. She picked up the glutinous rice in her arms and wanted to go upstairs. Tang Yuan saw the old lady Wu, her eyes widened. The child was completely unconscious and grinned at the old lady. A fair and tender little chubby guy, with round black eyes, and a smile that is unforgettable as soon as you see him. Old Mrs. Wu almost shed tears. This child's eyes are almost the same as those of her eldest child. This is her great-grandson. Go up and stop Mrs. Song. Old Mrs. Song glared, "What do you want to do? This is my home, not your Wu family. If you want to show off your authority, go back to your Wu family. What are you doing here at our Song family? Are you looking at my joke? I also tell you, get out of here quickly, I don't want to see you. Don't let me say unpleasant words, it will make both of you look bad." There are juniors standing in this room. I don't want to go too far, and don't force me. As soon as she saw that face, she felt angry. At the beginning, this woman made herself a joke to others for the rest of her life, and almost lost her foothold in this industry. She is lucky enough to be proud of herself and shine on her own lintel. She is simply a crazy woman. Mrs. Wu looked at the glutinous rice and pulled Mrs. Song angrily. Lao Meng, how old are you? The two of us are over 100 years old together. What happened back then was my fault. I solemnly tell you apologize, I'm here to apologize to you this time. The attitude was so humble and the tone was so sincere that Mrs. Song was surprised. Will she apologize to herself? The sun is coming out in the west. If this dead old lady was willing to apologize to herself, why would the two of them have reached this point today? After so many years of fighting in the ring, and now, suddenly my enemy comes and sincerely apologizes to me, what kind of drama is this? Mrs. Song had a straight face and did not relax at all. Mrs. Wu had no good intentions and must have some conspiracy. When Mother Song saw this, she hurriedly took a step forward. Naturally, she wanted to face her mother-in-law at this time. I'm sorry, we have too many things going on at home right now and we can't entertain you. You guys should go first. You cannot watch your mother-in-law being bullied. Is it possible that the Wu family wants to bully others by taking advantage of their large number of people? Isn't it too shameless? We are all gentlemen, and it would be too tasteless to do such a dishonorable thing. Su Meng stepped forward and gently pulled Song's mother. Let the older generation reminisce about the past. The knots in the past have to be untied. People say that it is easy to break up enemies but not easy to make them, and our two families have nothing to do with each other. The deep grudges and hatreds are all misunderstandings that the older generation has not resolved. Just let them talk about it, and we, the younger generation, go aside to drink tea and talk. I know, Ms. Song, you have a very promising son who is married to a wife and has a lively and lovely granddaughter. You are a blessed person. Hands and pulls, and forcefully pulls people away. If you don't hit the smiling person with your hand, Song's mother will not have an attack. Wu Pingjing hurriedly followed him to the restaurant. There are only 4 old people in the living room. Mr. Song was not angry, and he did not get up and looked at Mr. Wu and Mrs. Wu. What kind of drama are you two singing? Our two families have no friendship. I like to be straightforward, unlike you literati. I like these twists and turns. I don't have the crookedness of you, I just say what I have to say. If today I want to add insult to injury and see that something big has happened to our Song family, so I come to ridicule you, you will be unhappy. Don't blame me, the old man, for not giving you face for a while. My Lao Song's wife is not something anyone can bully. Mr. Song slapped the table, and the tea bowls on the table kept clattering. Little Tang Yuan was startled and started to cry. Old Mrs. Song held the glutinous rice and gave Mr. Song a roll of her eyes. Can't you please keep your voice down? Gently comfort the glutinous rice balls. Unfortunately, for some reason, Tang Yuan was so disrespectful that she kept crying and could not be coaxed no matter how hard she tried. Mrs. Song was also so anxious that she broke into a sweat. The more anxious you are, the harder it is to coax you. Even Mr. Song turned pale with anxiety. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 482. Chapter 482 disappears into smoke. Mrs. Wu stretched out her hand and said, let me give it a try. Mrs. Song glared, don't even think about it. You still have ideas about my great-grandson, you're just dreaming. Like a hedgehog with thorns all over its body. Mrs. Wu frowned and said, don't you be ignorant of good people's hearts. Give me the child quickly. It's not like you don't know. No matter how you say it, I am still a leader in the field of pediatrics. I am no match for a brain surgeon like you, at least I know how to coax children. I am better at coaxing a child than you are, so give the child to me quickly. Without any explanation, he took the child into his arms, gently coaxed the little glutinous rice ball, loosened the tight wrapping for the little glutinous rice ball, rubbed the palms of his hands and gently stroked the little glutinous rice ball's belly. As expected, after a while, the little glutinous rice ball gradually calmed down, stopped crying, and started to flex its hands and feet playfully, showing its teeth and claws in joy. Newborn babies sometimes have gastrointestinal discomfort. Don't you cry when your stomach hurts? He is a child and can't speak. Naturally, he feels uncomfortable, so he can only tell you in this way. Look at my method. This is an old method that has been used for decades. If any child has a stomach ache, I just keep it for a while. Mrs. Wu was proud to show off her skills, and the glutinous rice sang in harmony, seeming to be having a conversation with Mrs. Wu. The old lady laughed so hard that tears came out. She picked up the child and smiled kindly at the little glutinous rice dumpling. You are such a cute little guy. Your stomach doesn't hurt now, right? Darling, you have to call me according to your seniority, Grandma. Look at what Grandma has prepared for you as a meeting gift. Taking out a jade pendant from his pocket, the moist jade on the bright red veins looked like high-grade old jade. The little guy opened his little hands and grasped the strap tightly and waved it twice. Mrs. Song felt uncomfortable. This was her great-grandson. How could he become Mrs. Wu's great-grandson? It was a wonderful idea. Old woman, what do you want to do? Let me tell you, my great-grandson cannot accept this gift from you. Our family is not so short-sighted. A piece of jade pendant can wipe out our past grudges. What he said was not polite at all. Mrs. Wu walked back and forth gently holding the little glutinous rice ball. The little glutinous rice ball finally yawned, slowly closed her eyes, and fell asleep. Old Mrs. Song couldn't express her anger, so she could only call to old Mrs. Wu, put the child in the room. Two old ladies went upstairs one after the other. Mr. Wu looked at the chessboard and said, "Come on, old Song heard that you are a bad chess player. Come on, let's kill 2 games." Mr. Song became interested when he heard the silence upstairs. Mrs. Wu gently put the child down and covered the child with a quilt. Looking at the child's white and tender face, she felt sad when she thought of Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding, whose lives were uncertain. It's true that I was wrong in what happened in the past. Don't doubt that I set a trap for you. It was my fault, that's what I was wrong about. If it hadn't been for me, you wouldn't have been stuck as an intern because of family problems. There. It was indeed me who reported what happened at the beginning. But to tell the truth, when I was young at that time, in my heart, I was glorious and just, for the organization, and even more to help you, but now when I think back, I feel ridiculous. Mrs. Wu is sincerely trying to ease their relationship. She has been unwilling to admit that she was wrong for so many years. On the one hand, it has been too long and there has been a lot of bad blood between the two families because of this incident. The younger generations of the two families also had conflicts with each other because of this incident. As an elder, of course she was unwilling to talk about the past, let alone admit that it was her fault. But too many things have happened these days, ever since I heard what happened to Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding. The old lady regretted it in her heart. The old man didn't say anything to the boss at first, and the father and son basically no longer see each other, and they are completely broken. But because of Zhang Xiaoxiao's affairs, the old man couldn't sleep either. If you don't know about this and Zhang Xiaoxiao's identity, you can pretend not to care and continue living, but you clearly know that this girl is your own granddaughter. His whereabouts are unknown now, and it is very likely that he is really dead. The child is gone. It is no longer a matter of conflict between father and son, but a matter of heartache. The child also left a child. If they don't ease their relationship with the Song family, and the little one will be wronged in the future, they won't even have the position to stand up and support the child. The old man and the old lady couldn't sleep for several days and nights. The couple finally came up with a solution. They must ease their relationship with the Song family. Eased the relationship, although there was no need to tell the matter, and there was no need to reveal Zhang Xiaoxiu's identity. As their elders, it is only natural to take care of this child. Old Mrs. Wu is willing to lose face for this, not caring about her own dignity, and not caring about her own dignity. That's why I sincerely admitted my mistake this time. For the sake of your great-grandson, just admit your mistake. When you get old, you won't want to have this old face. Mrs. Song's suspicious eyes were full of suspicion. What are you doing again? If you can't scheme against me once, why do you want to scheme against me again when you are old? Do you think something happened to my grandson, and I have a loophole here? Can you take advantage of the loophole? Tell me how it is that for a person of your age, your mind is still wrong even when you are old. What if you just plot against me again? People who will be buried soon. Alas, what should I say to you? Mrs. Song is totally unbelievable. Lao Meng, you really want to be wrong. I really didn't plot against you. I sincerely apologize to you. The two of us have been friends for so many years, although we have been enemies for so many years. But I know you far better than you do. Any friend who knows you better is so old. For me, I must admit the mistakes I have made. When you are buried one day, you won't regret it. I still hope that the two of us can become friends. Such a big thing happened in your family. Suddenly it made me feel that the world is impermanent and I should cherish the time I am alive. Don't think of me as such a bad person. You still don't understand who I am, even though I was the one who made mistakes back then. But there were also environmental factors and political factors at the time. I'm not a bad person, otherwise you wouldn't have said bad things about me for so many years. Anyone who has made no mistakes is said to have made no mistakes. If he has made any mistakes, he should correct them. I just feel like my days are short and I don't want to leave with regrets. Yeah, leave with regrets. Old Mrs. Song sighed, Ruime, although I blamed you for what happened at the beginning, but after thinking about it later, I realized that in that situation, even if you didn't do it, someone else would do it. But I just think that I was betrayed, so I couldn't get over this hurdle in my heart. Indeed, we are all the same age. If you still care about those external things, your life will be too boring. Okay, I forgive you. The two old men held hands and held each other tightly. A lifetime of grudges finally disappeared. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 483. Chapter 483 Moving. Mom, I'm here looking at the glutinous rice balls you go down, and you and Mrs. Wu can have some tea and chat down there. Song's mother took the initiative to take over. Her purpose is to cultivate a relationship with this child. If it weren't for the sake of currying favor with the old lady, she would not be willing to accept such a child. My granddaughter has never seen it herself. Now she is so active in helping others take care of their children. Isn't it just profitable? Mrs. Wu looked at the glutinous rice and shook her head. No, no need. Your mother-in-law and I can just talk here for a while. Besides, I also like this child very much. I treat this child as my own great-grandson. She came here just for this child, how could she go down? Mrs. Song also shook her head. You go and do your work. We two old ladies are here to talk for a while. Besides, it's not difficult to bring glutinous rice balls. He is quite obedient. Mother Song had no choice but to go out, and her angry expression was seen by Mr. Wu downstairs. I couldn't help but feel vigilant. I have heard rumors a long time ago that the relationship between the grandson of the Song family and his stepmother is not good, and the stepmother's expression does not seem to mean that there is anything good going on. I'm afraid they have some plans in mind. What he was most worried about was of course that this plan involved his great-grandson, who was still too young. At such a young age, once there is no one to protect the step-grandmother, there is no telling what the step-grandmother will do. It is one thing for a child not to be loved by others, but it is another thing once a child is taught bad things. Looking at you as my daughter-in-law, I feel quite filial to you. But it is said that you don't like this daughter-in-law. Why are you here so frequently now? I want to help you look after your great-grandson. Ah. Old Mrs. Wu doesn't like Mother Song. This Mother Song's eyes are not innocent at all. People who can become stepmothers are generally not good people in the eyes of others. Moreover, there have been so many rumors about the Song family's right and wrong for so many years, so she had to be wary of Mrs. Song in her heart. Old Mrs. Song sighed. Originally, people say that family scandals should not be made public. But, what is the relationship between us? Even though we have been enemies for so many years, I am afraid that you know more about my family's affairs than I do. As my daughter-in-law, back then I didn't like her. If it weren't for her, my real daughter-in-law wouldn't have died. I won't talk about the right and wrong here, but she has always had a bad relationship with my grandson. Now something happened to my grandson, and he came over to help me look at the glutinous rice balls. Do you think I can stop beating my head? You can also see how old we are. If I take care of such a young child, it would be okay for 10 days and a half, but it would be like this for many years. I'm afraid that my body won't be able to withstand it. If I fall, who will protect this child? But when I have to leave the child to her, I feel anxious and worried. It's not just me who is worrying. The old lady has no one she can confide in, although the two of them have been in a hostile relationship over the years. But that kind of heart-to-heart friendship cannot be compared to other people's friendship. The innocent years the two of them have gone through cannot be replaced by anyone's friendship. Lao Meng, you are right. That daughter-in-law of yours is not a pure-minded person at first glance. If this child is really brought up by her, she will have a reason to say good or bad. I know you are tired, but think about it, your grandson only has this one seedling left. If you are misled by others in the future, you will probably feel even more uncomfortable. I am sorry for your grandson and grandson-in-law. Hee, of course, don't stare. I didn't say something will definitely happen to them. It's not always a possibility. I don't want anything to happen to them, they are two good kids. Especially Zhang Xiaoxiao, who is the great benefactor of our family. I felt bad when something like this happened to her. I just thought, first of all, we have been friends for so many years. If we can reconcile, we can still be friends. No matter how old we are, it is not easy to find someone who can talk to each other intimately. And others, I really can't find a friend like you. On the other hand, I also want to repay my kindness. Zhang Xiaoxiao is kind to our grandson and to our whole family. If only I could lend a helping hand to her children. I am willing to do anything. Otherwise, I can help you take care of the children from now on. Anyway, I have nothing to do at home. I just plant flowers and read newspapers all day long. This guy is so lazy, why don't I just have nothing to do and come here to stay with you every day? Let's take care of the kids together. Regardless of our age, it's better for two people to share the burden than for one person. Besides, my old Wu can also come over to play chess and drink tea with your old Song. There are 4 of us raising a child, so why can't we take care of it? People have said that this child will grow up when the wind blows. Think about it. Will the method I mentioned work? MRS Song's eyes lit up. MRS Wu's words really came to her heart. As long as someone can help her, she is not willing to let Song's mother help her take care of her children. That's not a worry. But he asked old Wu to bring his old man over every day to help him take care of his children. Isn't it inappropriate? But, I'm so sorry that I made you two run around every day. Old MRS Song really felt it was inappropriate. What's inappropriate about this? Are you afraid that we will tire me out by running around? Let me tell you, I'm smart. The house next door to yours is Lao Zeng. Lao Zeng wants to go back with his son to retire, so that the house is uninhabitable. I have already agreed with Lao Zeng that we want that house and give him a house in the place where his son works. It is also a house with a single family house. When the time comes when the old couple of us move here, we will be our next door neighbors. How close it is. I will come to your house whenever something happens, and if there is any problem, you can go directly to our house. Just treat me as my friend and make up for the debt I owed you over the years. Of course, it is to compensate for the debt owed to Dr. Zhang. You can feel free to use me boldly, and you will have no complaints no matter how you use me. Even if our whole family comes to repay this kindness, we can't repay it. These words brought tears to MRS Song's eyes. Holding MRS Wu's hand, she shook it repeatedly. You, why are you so annoying? Look at you, you make me cry. You act so grandly and speak so openly. If I continue to hold on to things from the past, I will be so inhumane. How could you do this? How do you say moving means moving? Oh, let me feel this. Old friends, we are truly lifelong friends. I really want to thank you. Our glutinous rice are also very lucky. We actually have a pair of grandparents to protect us. Old MRS Song's gloomy days finally gave her a sense of relief with this incident. Some people support the feeling that it is a bright hope. You are so sincere that you have moved your home, so what else can you say? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 484. Chapter 484 Can't Stay. Mother Song returned home angrily and smashed the cup on the coffee table. Fang Ziyi hugged the child and covered the child's ears, while Song Mohuan complained dissatisfiedly. Mom, what are you doing? You go home like this. If you are angry, just say it properly. You are scaring the child. Hold the child with tender eyes and said to Fang Ziyi. Go and drink the chicken soup for a while. It won't get better when it gets cold. I'll keep an eye on the child. My heart and eyes are filled with the love and love of Fang Ziyi. Fang Ziyi was very satisfied. Song Mohuan really made her very satisfied. She would be very satisfied if she lived like this in the future. At least Song Mohuan was wholeheartedly obedient to her now. It is estimated that even if Song Moding comes back now, he will not be able to compare with this man of his own. What Zhang Xiaoxiao has, she will also have. It's not God who is helping her now. Zhang Xiaoxiao not only disappeared, but he also had a helper to help him. She is not sad at all now. Life is full of sunshine. Song's mother was angry at her son. Eat, eat, eat. You know you are letting your daughter-in-law eat all day long, not feeding pigs. You, a grown man, hang around women and children all day long. Do you have any ambition at all? If you don't take the opportunity to go to your grandma's house at this time to be courteous, why don't you just sit at home and coax the children? How can sitting help you? Can your wife help you directly become an attending physician, or can your wife help you get promoted? She is just a small nurse. Even if she enters the people's hospital, she is still a nurse. She is just a head nurse. You'd better think carefully about your career. Something like this happened to Song Moding. If you don't take the opportunity to show off, when will your grandparents see you in their eyes? Song's mother was angry today because the old lady was obviously tempted and prepared to let her take the dumplings. She had already thought about how to discipline the dumplings, but the old lady suddenly changed her mind. It's not all that old Mrs. Wu. You said you had nothing to do, so why did you come to their house? It is not a good thing that the two families are not in contact with each other, but the result is not bad. The old lady came to apologize to the old lady, and she expressed 100 apologies to their old lady, a sincere apology. He even said that in order to repay his kindness, he would move his family next to their house and become neighbors. What kind of kindness can you repay? How could Zhang Xiaoxiao be so lucky and become a benefactor of the Wu family? The two old ladies are now just like young girls, huddled together and making noises. The two of them took care of the children together, which really saved their old lady a lot of trouble. I didn't see that the old lady's brows, which had been frowning for the past 2 days, suddenly relaxed. Simply ruined all his plans. The old lady made it clear that she would bring the glutinous rice herself. With the help of my old friends, it is unreasonable that 4 old men and 1 old woman cannot take care of a child. Besides, they already have an aunt at home, so the worst thing is to hire another aunt. He just said it, but fortunately, Mrs. Wu over there answered directly and said that they still have an aunt at home. Don't worry, 2 aunts and 4 old people can definitely raise a child. They are all older anyway. Retirement is a matter of minutes, and now it is just a false name. According to their age, it's time to retire. Those who have already taken a back seat should retire early if they can't. The 4 of them have plenty of time to take care of their children. Mother of Song is so angry. Tell me, when will it be the Wu family's turn to come here to meddle in their Song family's affairs? It happened that after her mother-in-law eliminated the estrangement, she really regarded her as her best friend. I don't even think about it. After so many years, can the grievances between the two families be eliminated? But the old lady likes him, and she has nothing to do. She can't just open her mouth and drive Mrs. Wu and Mr. Wu out. I didn't see Mr. Wu and his father-in-law killing each other inextricably, and they all had dinner together. Now when I return home, my son is not up to expectations. There was nothing that gave her any peace of mind. Mom, are you finished? You are unhappy outside, and your attitude is the same when you come home, which affects the mood of the whole family. Let me tell you, please be careful what you say. Xiaowai is currently in confinement. A woman who is in confinement should be taken care of more carefully by her family. Not only do you not care about your own wife, but you also say that I care about my own wife. You said you were being unreasonable. You are also a woman, and you have gone through this, so respect yourself and your daughter-in-law. Song Mohuan has been used to being lawless over the years, and he is not polite to his mother. Song's mother was so angry that her mouth was full of smoke. Looking at his son's appearance of being a filial son and a virtuous grandson, I really wanted to hit Song Mohuan twice. Your grandma regards that glutinous rice dumpling as a treasure. Now I don't want to touch the 2 of them. In the future, there will be no Song Moding and the Song Tangyuan. I look at you, I will never be able to get in the eyes of your grandparents for the rest of my life. Go. You are still talking about me. Let me respect myself and your wife, then do you respect me as a mother? You should also respect yourself. Even my own grandparents look down on you, so what else can you do? Stay at home all day long, taking care of your wife and daughter. What kind of climate can you become? Look, when this Song Tangyuan grows up, he will be Song Moding again. You will be oppressed by others in your life. Fang Xiaowai's heart skipped a beat. Although Mother Song was not good to herself, she was also very venomous in her words. But what Mother Song said is right. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding are not here, but there is still a glutinous rice ball. In the future, this glutinous rice ball will become the eyeball of the old man and the old lady. Even if I could have a son in the future, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to marry the old lady and the old man. The husband she expects is not simply to be obedient to her. Her husband must also have status and prestige to ensure their quality of life and their own glory. If he can't even do this, he must marry her. What do you want for Song Mohuan? Mom, didn't you say that we would take the glutinous rice back and take care of them at home? Why don't my grandparents agree? It is up to her, the mother-in-law, to decide how to take care of the child when she is brought back to their home. Judging from Fang Xiaohuai's understanding of this mother-in-law hated Song Moding. That anger was all suppressed in her heart. It was strange that she could treat this glutinous rice dumpling well. But whether she was good or bad to this glutinous rice dumpling, it had nothing to do with her. After all, she did not do this. In the future, even if the old man and the old lady were angry, come to my mother-in-law. She had no intention of intervening. But it was different now. This matter was related to her own vital interests, so she had to plan it carefully. Song's mother snorted coldly, "Your grandma said that they take care of the dumplings themselves and don't need me at all." That old lady Wu also stepped in and actually said that she would help your grandma take care of the dumplings. Now after pouring the dumplings, that's the elders of the two families taking care of them. The background is tough, but you gave birth to such a loser, and I didn't see that your grandparents were not even willing to take a look. You are still complacent here. You two just treat this girl as an eyeball. What's the use? No one cares about it at all. Mother Song turned and went upstairs. Daughter-in-law, don't worry, I like you and the child, and it's useless for anyone to say anything. Fang Xiaohuai drank chicken soup and meditated. It seems that the glutinous rice cannot be kept. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 485. Chapter 485 Rescue has no limits. Feng Zhejiao and others looked at the road. This mountain road was so difficult that they would almost fall into the cliff next to them if they were not careful. If this continues, let alone rescuing others, they themselves will have to catch up. He and his people have already withdrawn from the mountain. Captain, we can't go up. Today's weather forecast says it's likely to rain again tomorrow. In this case, comrades can't go up the mountain anymore because it's too risky. We can't save them because our lives don't matter. How many days have it been? Didn't Mr. Song also say that if we can't find anyone today, he will let us retreat? Anyway, we definitely can't find anyone now, and there's no way we can go up this road, so let's just retreat. There is no difference in the results between withdrawing half a day earlier and withdrawing half a day later. With this weather and such a long time, they wouldn't be able to survive now even if they lived in the mountains without food or water. Let us risk our lives to find a dead man. The brothers are not willing to give in. The people below all looked angry. Feng Zhejiao sighed. He knew what they meant, but he was also unhappy. Their lives are also lives. Okay, comrades, get ready to evacuate. Let's pack up our things, but we are still stuck for some time. It's best to evacuate in the afternoon, otherwise, if someone really discovers us, we won't be able to explain it. The people below immediately became happy. Captain, don't worry. We all understand that this is a matter for all of us. It concerns everyone's interests. Of course, everyone must do a good job. We will slowly clean up this matter. Now in the morning 10 o'clock, we will not withdraw until after 3 or 4 in the afternoon, so that people can't find any reason. The captain protects them, and they naturally protect the captain. Half an hour later, someone came to report. Captain, there are search and rescue personnel from the fire brigade going up the mountain. Feng Zhejiao was stunned. Fire brigade? I haven't heard of coordinating other surrounding teams to help them carry out search and rescue activities. How many people? Is it a formality to come down from above? After all, It involves the grandson of Song dynasty. This matter is still a big deal. 100 people. The subordinates who answered were also murmuring in their hearts. 100 people is not a small number. Their total number is no more than 60. So many people? Feng Zhijao hurriedly put on his coat and followed up the mountain. Within a few dozen meters of walking out, he saw a team walking uniformly up the mountain from a distance. The equipment they brought was very sophisticated. Looking at the figures and bodies of these people, they were obviously carefully selected. They were all young adults, and they looked well trained. He did not know the person leading the team. "Hello comrade, I am in charge of the Forest Rescue Brigade in this area, who are you?" Feng Zhijao was dissatisfied. Even if they came to participate in the rescue, they had to tell their leader. After all, this area was assigned to them by their superiors. "Hello, we are from the city's Fire Rescue Brigade. We are assigned by our superiors to do rescue missions here. We have been given privileges by the superiors. We can do whatever we want, so you can rest assured that we will not interfere with your rescue. You do your thing, we do ours, we all do our jobs." The speaker is neither humble nor arrogant, but his position is made clear in just a few words. Tell him clearly that they do not accept their command and management. After saying this, he took the people directly up the mountain. These people seemed to be well informed about this kind of scene, and the equipment they wore was very suitable for rescue here. Even the dirt roads did not stop these people. They walked in high spirits, with flying steps. The whole team moved very fast, and after going up the mountain, it was obvious that the team was divided. Each person is responsible for an area and spreads out directly. Feng Zhijao snorted coldly. The terrain in this mountain was very complicated. Even they didn't dare to go up the mountain to rescue easily. What else can these people do? Think they are well equipped, so how can they be more advanced than them? He guessed that Mr. Song called the others. After all, Mr. Song had promised them that if Song Moding was not found today, they would be asked to evacuate. The words of these leaders cannot be ignored, but they will arrange follow-up rescue personnel later and they will naturally take over. Of course it is impossible to leave his grandson here easily. Feng Zhijao returned to his headquarters. The subordinates below were waiting for him anxiously. After all, such a thing had happened, and they were also worried about whether there had been any changes above. "How is the captain doing now? Were these people sent down to force us to rescue with them?" "Okay, don't be a villain. They have said that we should perform our own duties and have nothing to do with each other. If they don't accept our leadership and management, of course they won't manage and lead us. They are busy with other people's work, and we are busy with ours." Feng Zhijao was upset. How can these people do this? They clearly asked us to rescue and then sent others here. Doesn't this mean they don't trust us? Why, they can still be better than us. Let's see and let them rescue. Wait until they save themselves. It would be a slap in the face if you don't come forward. The people below are also upset. For them, they have never encountered such a thing. Okay, everyone is busy with their own business, let them go. Feng Zhijao was ready to laugh and see what great abilities these people had. An hour later another subordinate came running in. "Why is something happening again? Is it possible that another rescue team is coming?" This time, my subordinate's face turned a little red. "Captain, this time a rescue team really came. This time there were 100 people, and the equipment was better than the ones just now. They drove a large vehicle directly to the bottom of the mountain, and the others got off the car and got ready. Notified us. People just go up the mountain directly. It is said that this is a rescue detachment from a certain team near us here to perform a mission. It is said that other detachments will arrive later. I would like to ask how many people there are. There is much to say, at least 10 teams are coming later. The order they received is to search the entire mountain within 1 day. They must find people alive and dead bodies. At this moment, Feng Zijiao's heart skipped a beat, knowing that so many search and rescue teams had arrived. Thousands of people are searching and rescuing on this mountain. If these people really found the person on the mountain, wouldn't that mean their search and rescue failed? It proves that their professional quality is not enough, and I, the captain, have an unshirkable responsibility. I got angry all of a sudden. Hurry up and gather our people to get ready and go up the mountain to prepare for search and rescue. Feng Zijiao cannot bear this responsibility. When they got to the bottom of the mountain, they had no chance to go up the mountain. Search and rescue teams one after another went up the mountain directly in front of them, and the areas should have been divided in advance. Each search and rescue team enters their area and starts working directly without disturbing other people at all. It can be seen that there is a leader with clear arrangements in charge. Feng Zijiao couldn't even intervene. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 486. Chapter 486, Rescue. Feng Zijiao squatted in his tent angrily, hoping that these people would not really find him. It was definitely not today when we found the person. It was not that he had bad intentions. In short, he was doing it for his own benefit. Besides, he had no bad intentions. In any case, they saved him sincerely for several days. Can't find anyone. What he was most afraid of was that they had worked hard for several days and couldn't find the person, but they found him as soon as they looked for him. How could it be so unlucky? They could retreat tomorrow night, but now they are like this. Once the other party really finds someone from the mountain, they really can't explain it. Of course he knew in his heart that the people under him did work very hard in the rescue at the beginning. After all, this is a human life, and not just one. This time we are looking for 5 people on the mountain. But as time goes by, everyone's physical strength and energy are consumed, and people are tired. So in the follow-up period, many people were not so careful and conscientious, and turned a blind eye. After all, I know in my heart that as time goes by, the hope of survival is getting smaller and smaller, basically very small. Just let the young men live in the mountains without food or water. After a few days, they will die. Captain, no, they found someone. Someone shouted outside. Feng Zijiao rushed out, and there was already a commotion outside. Dozens of his men are now crowded on the roadside, everyone stretching their necks to look at the road. Looking at the mountain again, someone carrying a stretcher was already coming down. Zhang Xiaoxiao was sorting out his grandfather's remains, but they couldn't take him away. Song Moding secretly calculated the time and found that they had been here for at least 10 days. Under normal circumstances, rescue may be abandoned within 7 days. After all, according to their experience, it is not that easy to survive in these barren mountains and ridges without food or water for 7 days. If people evacuate people, that is also the right thing to do. They had no choice but to find a way to cross the ravine on their own and see if they could find a way out. Song Moding tried it up and down in the past few days. It is impossible to climb up from the rock wall. This rock wall seems to have many places to stay, but when you climb up, you realize that the entire rock wall looks like a pot with a big belly. The higher you go, the less places you can rely on. Song Moding and Fan Jiangguo can only take one woman out each, and the old man has no ability to take her out. After crying for a long time, the old lady made up her mind and made a decision. Let them collect firewood and burn the old man here. When the time comes, wrap the ashes in something and take him out. You can't drag down the living because of the dead. This is preparation for burning firewood. Zhang Xiaoxiao is carefully sorting out the things for his grandfather. The old lady wiped the old man's face, usually cleaned up and chatted at the same time. Old man, just walk slowly. Just wait for me down there. When I watch the little child grow up, I will go find you. I won't let you wait for me for a long time. I know in my heart how good you have been to me for so many years. How do I know that this time we will never see each other again? Old man, this is our fate. Just go away well and don't worry about your family. Xiao Song, light the fire. The old lady looked at the old man talking, and only the old lady herself knew the sadness in her heart. Zhang Xiaoxiao held her grandma's hand tightly. The hand was cold and trembling slightly. The sadness in the old lady's heart cannot be described in words. Zhang Xiaoxiao cried and hugged the old lady tightly. Song Moding raised the torch. Song Moding, Zhang Xiaoxiao, Fan Jiangguo. Song Moding. Song Moding suddenly raised his head, and Fan Jiangguo and Zhang Xiaoxiao both raised their heads. There were a lot of shouts coming from where there seemed to be only a ray of light overhead. Song Moding made his hands like a trumpet and shouted. We are here. Zhang Xiaoxiao was lying on a stretcher with a piece of clothing covering his head, as were other personnel. Feng Zhejiao looked at the group of people coming down the mountain. One stretcher after another, 5 people were carried down one after another. My heart was completely cold. They had been looking for the person for so long but they didn't find him, and they only found him after going up there for half a day. At that time, the leaders above will not say this is luck, but will only think it is malfeasance on their part. Fan Jiuying and Zhang Lishi were being pointed at and scolded by Fan Jianfeng. What do you two do for a living? We agreed to take care of our dad, and this is how our mom takes care of her? Now there is no one left for me to take care of. Fan Jiuying, what do you mean? I have long said that our dad and mom will be taken care of. Take them back. You must keep them in the city. It's okay now, all the good people are gone. Now you don't even have a younger brother. I think your family has bad intentions. This is going to destroy our old Fan family. Fan Jiuying's hands were shaking with anger. Brother, you have to speak with your conscience. Don't you know how I have treated our parents over the years? Could it be that I was willing to do something like this happen to our parents? If something happened to you, he found it on my head and kept saying that I had killed my parents. If you really have that intention, then why haven't you just taken your parents back all these years? Every time I just talked about it, I didn't even open my mouth when I left. I wished my parents could stay in the city and never go back. It can save you two both food and trouble. Don't think that I don't know how my sister-in-law has treated our father and mother these years. If you have the ability to yell at me here, go up the mountain to find your parents. Jiangguo now has no people alive and no corpses after death. Do I feel better? My own daughter and son-in-law are in the mountains now, but they can't see anyone alive or dead. What else do you want? What else do you want from me? Is it possible that you would be satisfied if I died on the mountain? Fan Jiuying shouted that the development of the matter had already exceeded expectations. She never thought that Zhang Xiaoxiao would secretly go up the mountain overnight after learning the news. Now it's like no one is seen alive, no body is seen after death, his daughter is missing, his son-in-law is missing, his brother is missing, and his parents are also missing. Fan Jiuying really wished she could disappear too. She would rather die than have anything happen to those closest to her. It's really suffocating now, but my eldest brother still comes to the door and makes trouble. I wish I could eat her. Zhang Lishi supported his wife. Since this big incident happened, Fan Jiuying had not eaten a few mouthfuls of food, and then she had a fever. Finally rescued the person. However, my uncle came to the door again and kept scolding them both. Brother, something happened to my parents. I know you are worried, but this is also your biological sister. She is also your parents' biological daughter. You should know how Xiuying has treated her parents and the family over the years. It would be unconscionable to say that to her. As my brother-in-law, I shouldn't talk to you like this, but if you continue to be so messy, just get out of here. This is our Zhang family's place, not your Fan family's place. Don't show off your power to me here. If you really have that ability, go up to the mountain to find someone now. Stop talking nonsense to me here. What a man you are with just talking. Zhang Lishi was angry for the first time and was rude to his brother-in-law. Fan Jianfeng was stunned when he was scolded. This brother-in-law is crazy. It's something that has never happened before. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 487. Chapter 487 Find Someone. Jingle bell. The phone in the house rang. Fan Jiuying covered her forehead and said, "Dad, please go answer the phone quickly and stop talking nonsense." Neither of the couple has been in the mood to answer the phone recently. The phone calls were all scams. They always told them that they had discovered the traces of the old couple and Zhang Xiaoxiao and asked them to send money. I had been deceived once. After being defrauded out of 500 yuan, the couple no longer believed this, and the ringtone of the phone was no longer attractive. But they didn't dare not accept it. What if? Zhang Lishi helped his wife sit down before hurriedly answering the phone. Fan Jianfeng sat down and his wife pulled his sleeve. The couple looked at each other. I didn't say anything. Look at my brother-in-law's bad temper. I'm not in a hurry. Fan Jianfeng said. When something happens to his parents, his first reaction is to blame his sister and brother-in-law, but he also knows that the problem cannot be blamed on his sister and brother-in-law. My parents have been living with my younger brother for more than a year. I can't blame my younger sister for anything they say. However, he was also in a hurry. Brother, please just let me be quiet. I really beg you. Things at home are annoying enough. My head hurts so much that it's about to burst. Now you're still here to make trouble. Are you here to find Dad? Damn it, are you still here to cause trouble for me? Fan Jiuying really has a headache, no joke. The mother of the child, hurry up, she has been found. Whose hospital is she in now? Leave quickly. Zhang Lao was shouting in the room. Fan Jiuying almost fell to the ground. He asked in a panic, "What did you say? Father, what did you say?" She suspected that she was hallucinating, and Fan Jiuying had heard it a lot in the past few days. Zhang Lishi took the clothes and pushed the bicycle. Come up quickly, we found it. They said they found it and they have been sent to Hoyan Hospital. Let us go quickly, we have found them all. Parents, Jiangguo, Xiaoxiao, and Xiaosong, a lot. Zhang Lishi had a long-lost smile on his face. Fan Jiuying stood up suddenly, her vision went dark, thanks to Zhang Lishi grabbing her and putting her on the shelf behind the car. My dear, how are you doing now? If not, you can lie down at home and I'll go over and take a look first. Fan Jiuying shook her head, tears welling up. What nonsense are you talking about? I can do it, I can definitely do it. Nothing has happened to me. I am just happy. Come on, come on. Come on, get on the horse and let's go. Urged Zhang Lishi. Zhang Lishi was pushing the bicycle out, and Fan Jianfeng grabbed Zhang Lishi. No, my parents have found us. You guys are riding bicycles. What will we do? We don't know the road. You go out and take bus 32, and then get off directly at the entrance of the hospital. Zhang Lishi couldn't control that much, so he took his wife and left. Fan Jianfeng had no choice but to go out with his wife. His parents found him and they had to go take a look. If his father, old lady, and old man are all right, and my brother-in-law is all right, then is there no hope for our house and money? Wu Jina asked in a low voice. When the couple came, They were both sad and happy when they heard that such a big thing had happened. Fan Jiangguo has been living a good life in recent years. The life of the family was enviable, but the couple became more and more anxious as time went by. The children in the family were all grown up, and they all depended on farming. The two sons were getting ready to get married, but the family could not afford the various betrothal gifts. Come out. Don't mention that there are still two younger ones going to school. The two of them demolished the east wall to make up for the west wall, but the problem is that there is not enough to fill the hole. Originally, this time, the couple planned to come to the city to complain to the old man and the old lady, and see if they could get some money from the old man and the old lady. After all, the old man and the old lady lived with the second son in the city and lived a comfortable life. It's not like they haven't seen the second son making money easily, and he's not married yet, so he's used to spending a lot of money. They have come several times to see the things that the second brother bought for the old couple. They are all good things, and they also give the old couple some money from time to time. The last two times they came here, they took some money from the old lady and the old man to subsidize the family. Who would have thought that this time when I came up I heard that something had happened to the old man, the old lady and the second child. The couple was really anxious at first. Those words he scolded Fan Jiuying were also what he felt in his heart. After all, it's your own parents who are watching something happen, so why don't you worry? After 3 anxious days, those who came to deliver news often said that there was little hope. Because too much time has passed, they also know that there has been no news on the mountain for 10 days. Under this situation, the possibility of a person surviving is very small. After all, he has no food or water. Who knows if he will be injured or not? If everyone is dead from the beginning, then these 10 days will be just a waste of time. For them, there was still hope at first. Now their hearts have completely cooled down. After their hearts have cooled down, the couple began to have bad ideas in their hearts. Mainly because they saw that Fan Jiangguo's small courtyard was neatly tidied up. Although Fan Jiuying locked the house, they naturally knew that there were many good things in Fan Jiangguo's courtyard. In order to be afraid that the old man would be lonely, Fan Jiangguo bought a TV and a radio for the old man and his wife. Everything in the house was good, and the furniture was made of new furniture. Fan Jiangguo also planned to get married at that time. The things I bought are also good things, just waiting to meet the right person to get married. The couple discussed secretly. The facts cannot be changed. The old man cannot survive, and neither can his second brother. So what we are facing now is the aftermath. When we find someone and take care of the funeral arrangements, what will happen to the remaining property of the second brother and his parents? He didn't want to take advantage of Fan Jiuying. The situation at home is much more difficult than that of Fan Jiuying. No matter what Fan Jiuying said, she only had one son left who was not married. Those children all have jobs. Don't think he doesn't know that the 2 daughters of Fan Jiuying's family have both returned from the farm and passed the college entrance examination. They are now being paid to go to college. Not only do they not have to spend any money from the family, but they still have money to subsidize the 2 of them. In the future, when you graduate from college, you will be assigned a job, a guaranteed iron rice bowl. My sister's family and several children are considered stable and can make money. But my family is different. My family is still in the village, so how can the children have an iron rice bowl? They all make a living by farming, with their faces facing the lowest and their backs turned to the sky. Without any external subsidies, one can only imagine the life these children in their family will have in the future. The couple immediately started thinking about getting the money, which is why Fan Jianfeng has been opening and closing his mouth to find faults, and criticize his sister in the past few days. I just want to put the truth on my side, and my sister will not take it. When the property is divided in the future, my sister will naturally not have the confidence to speak. You can get a little more for your own family. But who knew, Now the old man, the old lady and the second child have all been found. Since the person is in the hospital, it proves that the person is still alive. The couple would be lying if they said they were not disappointed. After all, they have regarded other people's property as theirs in the past few days, and now something suddenly changed, making both of them a little anxious. It cannot be said that they are bad people, but everyone always has their own little calculations and always wants to think more about themselves. Let's go and see. There will be a road before the car reaches the mountain. Fan Jianfeng could only say this, sitting in the car upset. Zhang Lishi and Fan Jiuying rushed to the hospital. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 488. Chapter 488. A woman harmed their family. As soon as Fan Jiuying entered the ward, she saw her mother staring out the window alone, with a numb expression on the old lady's face. Mom. The old lady suddenly came to her senses, and when she raised her head, she saw her daughter and son-in-law. When the old lady turned around, Fan Jiuying saw clearly. It has only been 7 days, but the old lady has changed a lot. She seems to have aged dozens of years all of a sudden. His hair has turned white, and the wrinkles on his face make people feel sour. Although he has not changed much in terms of weight and weight, there is obviously a lot of complexity in his eyes. Fan Jiuying rushed forward and hugged the old lady tightly. The moment Mrs. Fan saw her daughter, all the strength and patience she had pretended to have over the past few days finally collapsed. Hold her daughter tightly and burst into tears. Jiuying, Jiuying, your dad is gone. My heart aches to death. Your dad finally enjoyed a few days of happiness in the city for so many years, but he died like this. Your dad was here to protect me. When I fell into that pothole, your dad was afraid something would happen to me. Hold me tightly and hit the ground first, otherwise your dad won't be able to leave. I am the one who has dragged your father down, and I have harmed your father. The old lady thought about how her old man protected her when she fell into the hole. If he hadn't been protecting her all the time, she couldn't fall down this hole without any injuries. On the contrary, the old man vomited blood and passed out immediately because he fell to the ground. He also knew that it was definitely not good. But there were few doctors and no medicine, and she couldn't get out at all. By the time he saw those children, the old man was gone. In her heart, she blamed herself very much, feeling that she had harmed her old man. Fan Jiuying's heart skipped a beat. Mom, what did you say? My dad is gone. She was still worried at first, wondering whether her parents would have any physical problems because of their age and being stuck in the mountains for so long. However, after asking Zhang Lishi, she felt much more at ease. Zhang said honestly, the 5 of them were all in the hospital. I heard they were in the ward, so they were told to go to any ward to find someone. Once Fan Jiuying heard that she was in the ward, she felt much more at ease. Being in the ward was proof that she was alive. As long as a person is alive, it is easy to say anything. The most important thing is to take good care of them. I still have ginseng at home, and I am thinking about how I can save my parents' lives. But who knew it was coming? Only when I heard this did I know that my father had passed away. The old lady nodded with tears in her eyes. Fan Jiuying burst into tears. Zhang Lishi also felt uncomfortable. My father-in-law and mother-in-law are all good people, who would have thought that something like this would happen? A good person will lose this feeling after a few days, and normal people will feel uncomfortable. What's going on, Mom? How could something like this happen? Fan Jiuying still hasn't figured out how her parents could have encountered such a thing. She couldn't understand if it was because of her brother's money that the trouble was caused. Her brother's job as supply and marketing director didn't last a day or two. There has been no incident for more than 2 years, but now something happened. Besides, their family is a small family, and the house they live in is not eye-catching, and the people who usually come and go are not eye-catching. My younger brother is still very cautious and does things in a low-key manner. People outside have not heard that there is anyone in his family who is rich or powerful. The neighbors regard them as ordinary workers, and no one thinks that their family is a wealthy family. How could it be possible that someone was plotting against their family? The old lady wiped her tears and said, "The police also asked us. I have already told the police what happened. The two of us don't know what happened on the road when your father and I were kidnapped. We were both blindfolded. Just know that the other party wants money." However, I did take it to heart that the man said a few words before throwing us into the hole. The man said that they also took people's money to eliminate disasters. Who makes us blind? I don't even know who is the wolf and who is the sheep. If there is a next life, let us open our eyes and see clearly. He also said that this woman is more cruel than a man. The old lady has been thinking about the meaning of these words for several days. Although she didn't understand it very clearly, she thought about it by herself. What it meant was that the person who harmed them was a woman, and she spent money to harm them. Their family is a common people. Who among the common people would spend money to harm their two old men and an old woman, and she is also a woman? What kind of grudge does this woman have against their family? Fan Jiuying was also confused when she heard this. Woman. Purchase money to buy your parents' lives? Who? Who? There is no such enemy in their family. After appeasing the old lady, the couple went to Zhang Xiaoxiao and his brother's ward. Fan Jiangguo looks okay, although he looks a little sloppy. He came out of the cave without washing or cleaning up. It's strange that he looks good. But at least the person was okay and not seriously injured. However, when the two siblings mentioned the news of their father's death, they cried together. When Fan Jiuying saw Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding, she saw her daughter, who was holding Zhang Xiaoxiao, and felt sad and angry. The sad thing is that if there were no Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding, then not only would his father be gone, but it would also be unknown whether his mother would be alive. What's so angry is that this child has not even given birth yet he sneaks up the mountain by himself. Do you know that after staying in that cave for a week, you still don't know what will happen to you in the future? A woman who has something wrong during confinement will suffer from it when she gets older in the future. But what can she say? Can she scold her own daughter? My own children also sincerely feel sorry for my grandma and grandpa. If I don't feel sorry for them, how can I do this? Fan Jiuying hugged Zhang Xiaoxin and cried heartily for a long time. Zhang Lishi really praised his son-in-law for a long time. When the child here has finished crying, he has finished speaking. Fan Jianfeng and his wife over there also rushed to the hospital. After learning this shocking news, the couple felt a little wilted. The old lady and second brother were alive, but the old man was gone. This funeral still needs to be done. A few people were in slightly better health, so the police took notes. After all, this matter started when two old men disappeared and were kidnapped. It was impossible to hide this matter. This is a big case. Up to now, all the clues have been broken, and the gangsters are dead and injured. The leader, Brother Yang, had run away long ago and there was no sign of him. These people are all hanging out on the street. They come in and out of the police station several times. They are a bit old-fashioned, and they will never tell the truth. He didn't say who asked them to do it, nor what exactly happened. Of course, the main reason was that the police encountered strong resistance when arresting people and shot several of them to death. It can be considered that those who were killed by accident were all the main leaders. Their subordinates did not know the ins and outs of this matter, nor did they know that this matter was the mastermind, so they took these little minions back and asked nothing. Although these people were all sentenced, the mastermind was absent and the mastermind behind the scenes could not be found. This matter became an unsolved case. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 489. Chapter 489 Goodwill. Zhang Xiaoxiao was discharged from the hospital, and she and Song Moding were taken home by the old man and the old lady. Zhang Xiaoxiao has long missed his son Tang Yuan. Had it not been for the doctor's pressure, she would have gone home to see her son. She felt panicked after not seeing her son for such a long time. As soon as he entered the house, Zhang Xiaoxiao went directly upstairs. Old Mrs. Song was very happy. Don't worry. The child is in the room. When we left just now, the child was already asleep and someone was watching him. The old lady understands very well, which mother can bear not seeing her child for such a long time. The child is so anxious, if she is the same. When they received the news, the old couple were dumbfounded. Who would have thought that when they were so devastated, they would suddenly receive the good news that the two children were still alive? When they rushed to the hospital, they saw that the two children were in good spirits and had no injuries. The old lady was reduced to tears. She has never been like this in her life, holding her grandson, and daughter-in-law in her arms, crying so hard that her heart broke. Everyone in the ward was very embarrassed. They had never seen an old lady like this. Even the old man can't coax his wife. The old man choked up. His daughter-in-law is such a strong person. She has never cried like this in her life. Even when his eldest daughter-in-law went there, the old lady cried, but she didn't cry so softly. They literally scooped up all the water from the yellow river. Even the old man's eyes were red from crying. If it weren't for his identity and dignity, he would have wanted to run to the side and cry for a while. Grandson is back. All the worries and sadness in my heart for the past few days have disappeared. This kind of feeling is difficult for ordinary people to feel. This kind of loss and recovery makes people feel anxious. Anyone who has a heart disease may have it. Zhang Xiaoxiao tiptoed and opened the door. He imagined the little guy lying on the bed and snoring. In his imagination, the scene of the little guy lying on the bed and soundly sleeping did not appear. Tang Yuaner was lying on his back on the bed, with the diaper wrapped underneath him long gone. Hearing the sound of opening the door, he turned his little head and looked at the door, his eyes innocent and confused. Old Mrs. Wu was changing his diaper. While wiping his buttocks with warm water, he coaxed the little glutinous rice in a soft voice. Tang Yuan, you have to be good, your mother is coming back soon, Mom, Dad is coming back. We Tang Yuan are the children who are loved by others. You must miss your mother, right? After wiping the little buttocks, I took a piece of diaper and neatly changed the child. The old lady had been taking care of the child for several days and was now very good at it. The glutinous rice dumpling child lay there and was slaughtered. When changing his diaper, he didn't make any fuss at all. He only made one or two soft moans following the movements of Mrs. Wu. Zhang Xiaoxiao's arrival soon made Mrs. Wu realize that someone was there. Turning around, he saw Zhang Xiaoxiao walking over, picking up Tang Yuan, who was still kicking his legs, and gently holding Tang Yuan in his arms. Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes were gentle, and his tone of voice was patient in coaxing the child. Tang Yuan, Mom is back, do you miss Mom? Zhang Xiaoxiao, who used to be as reckless as a child, suddenly disappeared and became that ordinary woman who was a first-time mother and felt anxious and nervous. Tang Yuan's birth gave Zhang Xiaoxiao a real understanding of how to be a qualified mother. This experience is different from the feeling of being a mother. A young life has to be taken care of bit by herself. She hasn't thought about what kind of mother she will be, and as a result, she encounters such a huge thing. This feeling of holding her son and finding her son filled her heart with emotion. Little Tang Yuan seemed to recognize her mother. A little angry, he kicked his feet and groaned, strongly expressing his dissatisfaction for a long time. Finally, under Zhang Xiaoxiu's gentle care, he finally fell asleep in his mother's arms. Old Mrs. Wu's eyes were filled with tears. Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't show her composure to an old man who tried his best to protect and take care of his son when she was away. It is really impossible to let her speak evil words even though she clearly knows that this old man has the closest relationship with her. Thank you. Although she did not use any special title, Mrs. Wu still wiped her tears excitedly. A continuous answer. Thank you for what? It's deserved, Xiao Xiao, whatever we do is deserved. Song Moding's entry made the old lady shut up. No matter how they want to take care of Zhang Xiaoxiao or Tang Yuan. The matter of wanting to recognize the child involves a huge scandal, involving several families, and they cannot do it casually. Song Moding and Mrs. Song came in together. Song Moding saw Mrs. Wu's red eyes and expressed her kind thanks. Grandma Wu, thank you, and Grandpa Wu. These days I have heard from Grandma that it has always been you and Grandpa Wu who accompany my grandparents and help them take care of the glutinous rice balls. Thank you very much. Mrs. Wu wiped her eyes and said, You kid, the conflict between your grandma and I has been resolved, and we have no quarrel. If we talk about it, I can be considered your grandma. These are all things I should do. Don't say thank you or not. Your Dr. Zhang saved my grandson's life. In our family, Dr. Zhang is a great benefactor. It is the same as my granddaughter. I regard her as my granddaughter, so I help my granddaughter take care of her children and her relatives. That's not what I should do. Both of you kids are suffering. Please spend time with your child. The child will be 1 month old soon, so we have to have a good full moon party. Have a good celebration and get rid of this bad luck. Old Mrs. Wu doesn't know the news of Mr. Fan's death yet. Forget about Tang Yuan's full moon wine. My little grandpa passed away in this incident. There will be a funeral in the next few days. I'm afraid we don't have the heart to help this child hold a full moon wine. Song Moding said it euphemistically. It was not intentional and he meant well. Old Mrs. Wu was shocked. No wonder Zhang Xiaoxiao looked a little depressed. This child was simply too difficult. Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged the glutinous rice and said, Grandma Wu, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to help my grandma take care of the child for a few days. Only when our affairs here are finished will we have time to take care of the child wholeheartedly. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt that he should not reject people thousands of miles away. From this separation of life and death, she suddenly understood that things in the world are impermanent. The feeling is definitely different from watching the life and death of others, and from facing the death of one's own relatives. The only thing she understands now is that rebirth does not mean that everything will change. The most important thing is to cherish the talent in front of you. Sometimes, there is so much right and wrong in the world, and there is so much gratitude and resentment. There is no need to go to the top of the page to clarify some things and figure out the rights and wrongs. It doesn't matter whether you recognize it or not. Actually, Zhang Xiaoxiao understood Mrs. Wu and Mr. Wu's thoughts on treating her. Since everyone treats each other as family members, what does it matter whether they recognize each other or not? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 490. Chapter 490 Family Meeting. The old man's funeral is in accordance with their custom here. The old man was sent home. With the idea of resting in peace and returning fallen leaves to their roots, they specially found a car to take the old man back to the village. The funeral is finally over. Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others were so tired that they were speechless. She feels sad, coupled with the complexity of funerals. Funerals in rural areas are very particular. This is Zhang Xiaoxiao's first time to participate. When her parents were there, she had nothing to do. By the time she got the news, her parents were gone. It's done on the streets. This time she experienced it thoroughly. The old man has been laid to rest. Now the whole family is sitting together for a meeting. Zhang Xiaoxiao basically sat there without saying a word. Song Moding, as his grandson-in-law, is not suitable to speak. Mom, my dad has passed away. We have to discuss your pension issue carefully. There is also my dad's funeral this time. Fan Jianfeng spoke. He had his own selfish motives. Old MRS Fan leaned on the quilt on the Kong and sent the old man away. The old lady seemed to have lost all her energy and looked depressed. Zhang Xiaoxiao has actually been worried about her grandma. Grandma seems to be in a bad mood this time. In her previous life, my grandma was thinking about her children, her parents, and even herself. She mustered up her energy and continued her life just to take care of them. But what about now? Because life is worry-free, the old man has no worries in his heart. The death of the old man is not a concern for the old lady. It was a heavy blow, and the old lady was really a little helpless. The old lady looked up at her eldest son blankly. Boss, if you have anything to say, just say it. We are all a family. Don't hide your head and tail here. Even an old lady like me can't understand what you mean. Don't talk about your younger brothers and sisters. Since our whole family is sitting here, feel free to say whatever you have to say. The old lady frowned. Among her children, except the eldest, she had not raised her well and had raised her crookedly. Actually, the other children were fine, but she didn't know what the eldest brother's words were intended to be. Fan Jianfeng is a little embarrassed because his mother can't give him any face. But now looking at the looks in Fan Jiangguo and Fan Jiuying's eyes, I felt embarrassed. Mom asked me to say it, so I'll say it bluntly. I'm the eldest son of the family. There are certain things I won't say, and this matter can't go on like this. Dad has passed away, and Mom is alone now. I'm thinking, take Mom back to live in the village. After all, there are still some old friends, old aunts, and so on in the village. When we have time, we can talk and explain to our mother, which will make our mother feel better and live an easier life. Second child, although you have a big yard in the city, you still have to go to work. I'm afraid my mother would be bored every day when she's not at home alone. It is said that raising children will provide for old age. Mom is the only one left in our family. As for the cost of old age care, we should share it between the two of us, half for each of us. What do you think? Fan Jiangguo was right. He had to be busy with the store after he returned. Once he started to be busy, he might leave early and come home late, and he would not have time to take care of his mother. In the past, the old man would accompany the old lady, and the two old people would go out for a walk, let's talk, and visit the market. But now, he doesn't feel at ease if his mother is left alone at home. But he was even more worried about asking his mother to follow his eldest brother back to the countryside. With his eldest sister-in-law's temper and mouth, how could his mother live a good life with her eldest brother? In the past, Dad was here, and the two of them had someone to support each other. Now, Mom is the only one left to suffer the injustice. I'm afraid my mother will just endure it. Brother, we'd better discuss the matter of Mom's old age care. Although what you said makes sense, but I can't bear to see my mom come back. Fan Jiangguo is really reluctant to part with it. Fan Jianfeng's eyes widened. It was not pleasant to throw such words into his younger brother's face. If an outsider heard this, it would be because he was suspicious that his brother could not take care of his mother. Second brother, what do you mean by this? Although your sister-in-law did something wrong in the past, it's not like you don't know that your sister-in-law has changed her mind now. Besides, there is me. Am I a dead person? Can I? Do you think our mother is angry? Fan Jiangguo also knew that what he said was a bit unpleasant. With a look on his face, he could only shake his head. Brother, I didn't mean that. Our mother is living a very good life in the city and is quite comfortable. Besides, my mother is getting older day by day. What if she has a disease? It hurts. It's more convenient to go to the hospital in the city. If you're worried that I won't be able to take care of my mother when I'm busy, then I'll tell you and my sister-in-law. I have already dated a partner and am planning to get married at the end of the year. This is not just a matter of days. When I get married, there will be someone at home to take care of my mother. You can rest assured about this. When I take care of our mother, I don't want my eldest brother to get the pension money. My eldest brother's life is not easy. This matter of providing for the elderly can be done by myself. I am also considering this for my eldest brother. Don't take things wrong. Your brother sincerely wants to take care of our mother. Fan Jiangguo really doesn't care about the pension money. He has never asked his eldest brother for a penny in the 2 years since his parents lived at home. He doesn't know what eldest brother is yet. He sounds nice when he talks about it, but when he acts, he makes people look at him. Because he is his eldest brother, he can get by as long as he can. He is not the kind of person who cares about things, so he doesn't want to worry about many things. But he didn't think it was feasible to send his mother back to live with his eldest brother for retirement. When Fan Jianfeng heard this, he felt at ease and felt like a human being. Wu Jina curled his lips. Second brother, your eldest brother is the eldest son. Supporting the elderly is what we, the eldest brother, are supposed to do. If you take your parents away, we will no longer be human beings in the village. The villagers are just pointing fingers everywhere, saying that we as a couple are unfilial. This time, please let your mother come back to live, and let your eldest brother and I fulfill our filial piety. We won't compete with you for pension money. After all, your eldest brother and I are rural people who make a living by farming. We really want to be filial, but we can't afford that much money. In this case, we will take our mother back, and you will send 20 yuan to our family every month. Even if our mother takes care of her in old age, don't worry, I will definitely take good care of our mother. Even if you get married at the end of the year and are newly married, let your new daughter-in-law come in and take care of the elderly directly. I'm afraid my new daughter-in-law won't be happy either, but my sister-in-law plans for you wholeheartedly. When your life is better and you want to take your mother over to live with you, your sister-in-law won't stop you. Fan Jiangguo finally understood that the underlying meaning of his sister-in-law's words was actually about pension money. One mouth is 20 yuan. I really dare to open my mouth without fear of losing my big teeth. This was 7 or 8 years ago. How much was the salary of a worker? My sister-in-law asked him to give 20 yuan as a gift. It's not that he couldn't afford the 20 yuan. But Fan Jiangguo knew very well how much of the 20 yuan he could spend on his mother. With the character of his sister-in-law and brother, he would probably spend all the money on his own family. Even if Fan Jiangguo had money, he couldn't spend it like this. He would rather spend it all on his mother. You can't give subsidies to your eldest brother in the name of humming. What the is that? It is good whether you have done good deeds or not. Fan Jiangguo is not a vegetarian either. Can't do what these two fools do. End of this chapter.